Bring in the clowns. ESPN has done it again. What is going on, YouTube, and welcome to Detroit Lions Talk with MicroMike. We talk all things Detroit Lions news, rumors, analysis, breakdown, and everything regarding our franchise. In this video, we are going to clown BSPN, also known as ESPN, as they made another clunker of rankings regarding our Detroit Lions, and we're talking about the offensive line. They ranked the Lions' offensive line number 29 in the NFL. Definitely very accurate numbers there, and we're going to accurately disassemble these insane numbers. But before we get into this video, if you are not a subscriber, smash that subscribe button. We are 25 away from 14,000 subscribers. Also, hit that like button. Let's get to 100 likes in this video, getting closer to the regular season. And look, we want to be able to clown a little bit of the legacy media, also known as ESPN. So they've done it again, folks. You could not avoid the bias this offseason. Ever since former quarterback left, ever since Dan Campbell came in, they have really decided to disassemble and give Detroit a bad look, even worse than what you would expect. Now, we talked about the quarterback rankings before, but now let's get into the real funny one, and this is the Lions' offensive line. Now, Lions' fairly offensive line's considered very good, top third in the NFL, but ESPN came out in with the 29th ranking, and I think that is hilarious, and we're going to dissect it. First off, before we really jump into why this occurred, let's just kind of look at the rankings from 2020 and what the projections are for 2021 from other platforms that do NFL. I could only find legitimately two sources for 2020 when it comes to stats, but generally they're all the same. Now, PFF had its stats at the Lions 2020 offensive line as 13th in the NFL and Pro Football Reference as 11th in the NFL. Generally, when you see it, you don't see anything that gets past 15 and around 10. So that is the league average around the stats when it comes to the official stats of last year. Comment! Do you think the Detroit Lions offensive line is 29th in the NFL? Y for yes, N for no. And if you got something you'd like to say to ESPN, make sure you hit that in the comment section. I want to hear the funniest comments that you can come up about ESPN or BSPN, whatever you want to call it. This is your time to rip them a new one. When you look at what the projections are from other sites and other platforms that do NFL content, you got FTN Fantasy that has the Detroit Lions offensive line ranked 6th in the NFL. Very good. Kind of in the same platform of what we're hearing a lot. PFF have the Lions ranked 10th in the NFL. Generally, top 5, top 10 offensive line, what we've been talking about. The Huddle has the Lions at 12th in the NFL. So a little bit outside the outlier, but not bad. Still in the middle of generally accepted rankings. Then you got ESPN with a massive outlier completely out of the realm, giving the Detroit Lions offensive line the ranking of 29th in the NFL. And you say, my God, that's an outlier. Well, let's find out why it's such an outlier. Many factors can come in why we see such a odd rankings here, and I'm going to give you my opinion of why this is. First off, sloppy journalism. The lack of journalism nowadays just seems to get worse and worse throughout the times. People who do these articles or take time for a platform such as ESPN should be looking more into just considering ridiculous concepts of Detroit. Look into the numbers. Look into the players on the offensive line instead of just looking at the word Detroit. Because if you would have looked at the stats, you would have seen that Taylor Decker considerably was actually an average to a little bit above average left tackle. Jonah Jackson was a highly regarded as one of the best rookies offensive linemen, is actually on the rookie offensive line team. Frank Ragnow had one of the best seasons he ever had. and is now considered one of the best centers in the NFL. Yes, there is an issue with Halapoulivaati Vaitai. We really don't know when we look at his situation. And then you bring in Penei Sewell, who's regarded as the top tackle in the NFL draft. If you would have dug a little bit deeper, you'd have noticed ranking them at 29 is just utterly ridiculous and a S show for sure. It doesn't make any sense when you look at from that. So not taking the time to just look at team individually instead of just doing a macro look. Another reason is because former quarterback Matthew Stafford left. Ever since he left, the media, specifically ESPN, has just been doing utterly ridiculous articles after articles after articles. Former quarterback, have you seen in previous videos, was the 14th ranked quarterback per stats last year, but he jumped all the way to the 6th best ranking. Smash that like button, folks. Let's get to 100 likes in this video. With your help, we can get it done. Let's show ESPN that their rankings is a little bit off. And the more likes we get, the more chance that that video does push out, and they can see that they're utterly ridiculous. Then we get Jared Goff, and he was around 13, and he jumps to 26. The fascination and hate for the rebuild that's taking place has really destroyed looking at things rationally. Just because if a quarterback leaves, it doesn't mean that the whole team is going to crumble to absolutely nothing. An offensive line is an offensive line. Point blank, period. Just because you don't have a quarterback under center, it doesn't make the offensive line to crumble from a good offensive line to absolutely one of the worst in the NFL. It doesn't make sense. 1 + 1 does equal 2. But when you look at legacy media, 1 + 1 equals just Detroit sucks. Campbell is absolutely disliked. We've seen it from the beginning. Ever since his press conference, he has been getting mocked, destroyed, getting made fun of, called meathead, called everything in the world. Bring in a coach like that who represents Detroit really upset legacy media. They loved Matt Patricia coming in. He was an individual whose IQ was extremely high, but he was a terrible head coach. Bring in a guy who's considered more of a physical, a leader, not a X's and O's type of individual, just from how he speaks. Instantly, that makes him one of the worst head coaches in the NFL. That makes him absolutely bad. We've seen it with article after article. The absolute dislike for him. He's ranked 31 out of 32 head coaches in the NFL. Add that together, this whole team must crumble. The offensive line must be terrible. Now, a legitimate reason here is lack of winning. A lot of reason why there's bias is the Detroit Lions have not won. And actually, this is a legitimate thing to look at and why you get negative articles. The Lions must win here to change the perception and get it into a better look. You got to show the world that you can win. If you can win, you can change perception. But still, just because a team doesn't win, it doesn't mean that every facet of a team is horrible. You look at Joe Thomas. The Cleveland Browns were very bad for a long time, yet the offensive line was not bad. So just because you have a bad team or a lack of winning, it doesn't mean that every positional group is terrible. And the last reason I have here is it's ESPN. It's all about getting clickbait. It's all about lack of journalism. It's all about media bias. They're not caring about smaller markets such as the Detroit Lions. If you're not the Dallas Cowboys, if you're not the Los Angeles team, if you're not the New York Giants, the Washington football team, teams that they like that are in bigger markets, then your team must be bad, and absolutely, no matter what, it's just a bad football team because they have really fallen off a cliff when they've done their analysts. And so if you want places to look for quality information, there's many ways you can look for. Now, PFF is definitely something I wouldn't hang your hat on, but they have some good statistics you can look at for sure. NFL.com actually has a little bit writing compared to ESPN. Obviously, Chat Sports. I mean, if you look at Tom Downey, he's one of the best analysts when it comes to looking at prospects throughout the whole NFL, and Chat Sports as a whole is very good. Detroit versus everybody is real, folks, and this is legitimate. When you look at the media hate, when you look at what they spew when it comes to their articles, it is legitimately this city versus everybody. They hate everything about the Lions, and it's not going to change. I think even if we win, it won't change. I think you have to really probably legitimately win a Super Bowl to stop the hate and just stop the bias that's taking place. So as a Lions fans, we've known this for a long time. That's legitimately Detroit versus everybody. And it's important to understand that we'll probably continue to get some bad articles. But no doubt about it, we got to stick together as a fan base, look upon other metrics and other ways to get their information. In the upcoming videos, we got the One Pride podcast on my channel at 6:30 p.m. every single Thursday. It's a fun, interactive show. Make sure you show up. If you got questions, we do have answers. We have a panel, and we talk about it. We bring guests in. That's not part of ISA. We just have a real fun time, and we try to give time for you guys to have your questions answered. Also, on Sundays, I try to do it every single Sunday. It's not something that can possibly happen every single Sunday, but when I do, it's 11 in the morning, and it's just a one-on-one Q&A sessions. Again, hit me up, and I try to answer every single question by myself and give you some feedback that you would like. And I'm dropping content every single day on my channel. Make sure you come ahead and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the latest news and rumors regarding our Detroit Lions.